I'd like to talk about the bow just a little bit. So the bow hold is very important for tone production. Um, and if we're playing something like staccato eighth notes, where a bouncing bow is required, and we want some weight to sink into the string, so that we're not getting a very wispy sort of sound, right? A lot of that has to do with the way we're holding the bow. And so, um, and a couple of things to notice, like if you're holding your bow kind of at this downward angle, where the pinky is kind of resting on the middle of it, and the pointer finger is kind of at its tip, maybe the thumb might be straight. It might have like a, kind of like a downward arm, elbow. All those things are going to be serving to essentially weaken the bow's ability to contact the string. So a couple of things I would suggest. Number one is rotating from the shoulder, right, and just making a little bit of like a cushion underneath your elbow. So like making a little bit of a lift on with your elbow, okay? And the other thing is this is going to create a turn into the bow. So the hand, in order to continue to hold the bow, we're going to feel the thumb start to hold, kind of, I don't want to say press into the bow, but we're going to feel the thumb sort of starting to really grip a little bit more into the bow. And we're also going to feel that in this finger, because turning this way, what it does is it just by that simple rotation, what it does is it brings the thumb up and it brings this finger down, and that in itself is very useful for the contact with the string. Okay, I'm able to press the string, the hair of the bow, down with this kind of an angle, and even compress the string down a little bit with that motion. Can you see that? Okay, if I'm holding the bow with a low elbow and kind of some people call this like the sloth bow hold. It's like kind of like this very, fingers together, kind of round, kind of uniclaw. And it's very much this angle, rotated. Okay, that kind of bow hold is it's a common habit for people to get into when we're not focusing so much on the way we're holding our bow. But it's a very low kind of, if you could say, like a energy level of just the energy that we're putting into the string. This is more of a, it's there's a lot of energy that's kind of just sagging in the arm and the gravity and the weight. When we do this, however, this upright energy here, this upright posture, right? It naturally kind of sinks that weight into the string. So if we're going to try to do this kind of thing, I mean, maybe we have our elbow up. Maybe the elbow's at a good angle. But the hold of the bow is still kind of preventing that really good, firm contact with the string. What needs to happen is a rotation. It's bringing the thumb and bringing the finger in this rotation, okay? The other fingers are all support. They're all balance, okay? So they're going to be keeping the bow from flying in directions we don't want it to go. They're support and balance, but they're not going to be doing, these fingers are not going to be doing a whole lot of like activation of the bow, really. They're more just for like balance and support. What really is making the activation and making the sound possible is the thumb, which is kind of an upwards. Thumb is coming up, and that first finger, which is going down, it's wrapping around the stick. Okay, so this bow hold is really important, especially for as we get a little bit more dynamic, right? If you want to get a little louder, it's going to be hard to do with this, right? And you can kind of see probably too from just the general sort of you know, the posture, right? This looks much more engaged. This looks kind of visually, you can see it looks a little bit more kind of like, you know. So think about that. Okay, it's just some bow hold feedback and guidance, suggestions. Okay, to work with.